Reinvent with AI. Imagine learning that equips you to thrive in AI-powered roles. At Accenture, learning goes beyond courses. It's about empowering you with AI skills and being part of shaping the future of work. Together, we're reinventing with data, reimagining work, and reshaping the workforce. Amplify your impact. Here, you don't just imagine the future, you make it real. Start your journey where learning powers real-world innovation. Reinvent with AI. Explore your next steps at accenture.com/reinvent with AI.
Hello, and welcome to Accenture Live. I'm Ambe Tierro, and I'm so excited to kick off our very first episode of the Reinvent with AI series. Whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, this is your front row seat to the conversations shaping the future of technology and talent. Over the next few months, we'll explore how AI is not just reshaping work, but reinventing skills, careers, and opportunities right here in the Philippines. Today, we're diving into careers in the age of AI. We'll talk about the shift to agentic AI and how you can build meaningful, future ready, and AI enabled careers at Accenture. Joining me are three of our own top talents. Earlier, I asked them how AI has personally impacted their work, and their answers really set the stage for today's chat. First joining us is Hendrik, a senior AI architect from our AI and data practice. Hendrik, I love how you put it. AI helps you trade busy work for brain work, giving you the space to stay 3 steps ahead. Next up is Camille, a technology architecture manager with Accenture Microsoft Business Group. For Camille, AI is all about cutting through the technical noise so she can focus on the problems that actually matter. And finally, we have Marianne, an associate manager from our Gen AI Future Operations team. Marianne has seen firsthand how AI is literally accelerating the way we deliver value to our clients. So, Hendrik, Camille, Marianne, welcome to Accenture Live.
Thank you, Ambe. Happy to be
Of
here.
course, of course. So, it's very exciting. Let's start with a quick pulse check. In just 3 words, how would you describe your typical workday now that AI is officially part of the team? Hendrik?
For me, it's human AI collaboration.
Okay. Camille?
I would say augmented, fast-paced, purposeful.
Okay. Marianne?
For me, it's efficient, smarter, and strategic.
Okay, I love those. Our panel is ready, huh? Now that getting comfortable with AI doesn't, we know that getting comfortable with AI doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey of continuous learning. So, Marianne, I'll start with you. You've really modeled this journey, and I want you to walk us through your own AI upskilling path at Accenture.
Yeah, it really is a journey, but AI has fundamentally changed how I learn and work, especially as a lead, implementing tools for automation and analytics. My own AI upskilling path has been a mix of formal training and hands-on guidance or hands-on discovery. I built my foundation here at Accenture through TQ or trainings and qualifications in AI. And I know most of us here are done with our TQs. I also attended Agentic AI webinars. There are a lot of schedules provided here in Accenture for Accenture employees. And lastly, of course, I did a lot of self-study then using our Accenture knowledge repository. So there, these resources didn't just help me understand the fundamentals of AI. They also taught me the principles of responsible and effective AI adoption. And because of how Accenture empowered my growth, I've moved from being an AI learner to help or empowering our enablement team. So now I help others adapt AI confidently through trainings and hands-on guidance. I am part of the team who enables the resources or our people to create their own prototypes so that they can solve real operational challenges using AI and low code, no code tools.
You know, that journey from learning to leading is so inspiring. Thank you, Marian, for sharing. So, based on your experience in Accenture, what do you think are the must-have skills that the Filipino talent needs to prioritize in this new era?
Okay. If I had to narrow down a Filipino talent need most, I'd say first is critical thinking. That's essential. AI can give insights, but it's still up to us to evaluate whether the answer is correct or if it fits the business. And then equally important is the problem framing and prompting. So AI's output depends entirely on our ability to define the problem correctly or clearly. Also, a strong understanding of data, processes, and I would say operations are also critical, as AI delivers most value when paired with real world domain knowledge. Siguro last would be the adaptability and continuous learning. Technology moves fast, so you have to be confident in being a perpetual student.
I love those, no? So critical thinking, problem framing, you said domain expertise and adaptability. So take note, no? Those are not technical skills. Those are life skills, I would say, which will help us, no? And has helped you navigate this new world. So very good. Let's go to Camille. Camille, how we think is just as important as what we know. So, what does it actually mean to have an AI ready mindset?
For me, it goes beyond knowing how to use the tools. It's really about how you think, adapt, and collaborate with AI. First is about being curious and experimental. And I think being curious is part of our nature, right? So AI is still evolving. There's no single correct way to use it. You have to be willing to test, fail, refine, and actually co create with AI. Second, you have to be comfortable with ambiguity. I mean, ChatGPT, Copilot, they're very transparent that AI generated answers can be incorrect. AI doesn't always give perfect answers, and that's okay. Being AI ready means we can navigate uncertainty and make informed decisions instead of expecting perfection from the start. Third would be ownership and accountability, as Marian shared earlier. And even if AI provides the output, we humans still own the outcome. So we need to use AI responsibly, especially when working with sensitive data or business critical processes. And finally, it's about thinking in terms of augmentation. It's like, how can AI amplify what I already do well? So that perspective turns AI from something intimidating into something enabling.
Again, wonderful insights, no? Wonderful. And I personally believe curiosity is one of the traits of someone who will thrive and lead in the AI era. And what they've shared so far is planting that mindset in people is exactly why Accenture is investing so heavily in AI literacy. In fact, we've invested $3 billion in upskilling our people in AI and data globally. Especially now that we've moved beyond seeing AI as just a tool, we're now working with AI as a partner. As part of this investment, Accenture has curated AI learning courses to help our people upskill. We have workshops and modules that teach hands on agent building and tailored learning paths for all roles, all to ensure that our people stay ahead of the curve. And the numbers speak for themselves. More than 80% of our people in the Philippines have completed their AI and data courses. And today, over 60% are already proficient in agentic AI. But while the numbers are impressive, the real shift is in how this technology actually feels when you're using it. So now let's go to Hendrik. Hendrik, you've seen many tech cycles. When it comes to agentic AI, what was the light bulb moment when you realized that, okay, this work will never be the same with this technology?
For me, the turning point was when AI stopped being an assistant and started collaborating and participating as part of the team. So just to give you a bit of context on my answer, I know most of us know or use ChatGPT, right? We've used ChatGPT before as some sort of our assistant. Naging best friend natin si ChatGPT. At some point, we're asking it questions and then it's providing answers based on its knowledge and also researching the internet to provide a more accurate or factual answer. Um, but as Camille said, we should not be afraid of experimenting on using AI to improve our day-to-day work. So there's this one experience I want to share in my project where we've had this issue in a complex system that would require us to investigate the issue to resolve it. So typically, what we would do is to manually like look at the logs, figure out the correct queries, observe the data flow, and then review the codes. So it would take days for us just to figure out what is the problem, and then another day to resolve it. But what we did instead of doing that manually is we created agents. So we created agents that would review the logs, observe the data flow, and then review some codes. What the agent provided us is a more narrowed down information. So it was able to filter out what is only relevant to the problem. So still, we are the ones who are deciding what was the problem, and we are deciding what was the resolution. But the AI was able to filter down and reduce the noise. And that's when I realized that work will never be the same with AI.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that story. And I love the concept of AI as a teammate. No? And I want to share an anecdote that I believe it was from the World Economic Forum, and it was very thought provoking. No? And the anecdote was, we are the last generation of leaders that will manage only humans.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So very provocative, right? That 30 years our grandchildren will wonder why are you just using human beings and not agents? And so that's something that I guess we will have to look forward to. No? So Camille, looking at our own innovations, which AI agents are you most excited to have by your side? How are they reinventing your work?
In my day to day work, I think there are three types of agents that I find incredibly impactful. First are research and synthesis agents. I think research is part of our day to day work, and these will help us quickly gather insights across multiple sources, summarize complex topics, and even identify patterns or gaps. So, like what Hendrik mentioned, what used to take hours now just takes minutes. Second would be development and prototyping agents. So, in my role, I work a lot on proofs of concept. AI agents can now help generate code, suggest architectures, and even debug or optimize solutions. So this helps us go from idea to prototype much faster. And the third would be workflow and orchestration agents. I think these are the ones I'm most excited about long term, because instead of doing tasks one by one, you can have agents that act like digital teammates, like what Ambe said, like AI teammates. Then they will help us coordinate steps across tools like analyzing data, generating reports, and even triggering actions. So overall, what's really changing is not just speed, but the nature of work itself. And they're not just supporting my work, but they're helping elevate it.
Okay, I really appreciate what you shared, no? And hopefully our audience is starting to relate that this doesn't have to be complicated, no? Because some people get intimidated when you say AI, but as you all have been sharing, these are practical ways, no? And it's really changing how you work and what you choose to focus on. Um, and I think when we talk about reinvention, that's what it means. No, we're reinventing the way we work. And Camille, what you said is it elevates people. No? All right. So Marianne, can you point to a specific project where an AI solution you helped implement actually changed the game for the client?
Um, absolutely. Um, what I remember this one project which really stands out for me because we implemented an AI solution for ticket processing. So for this specific client. For operations, one of the problem is the volume of transactions. So we were dealing with over 25,000 tickets every day. So imagine over 25,000 tickets, diba? And we had to meet the SLA. We had to, touch and close those tickets on a day-to-day basis. So even though the process wasn't complex, pero it was incredibly manual. So someone had to read the tickets, of course, one by one, every single tickets, and update it in the system. There are key fields that needs to be updated. If you're using that ticketing tool, one is the category and then the type before it could get processed in the system. So these consumed the team's entire capacity and left them no time for higher value work. So I remember we had to, take overtimes just to, close these tickets. And so we introduced an AI tool which takes over most of these repetitive part of the process, like the ticket classification and categorization. The AI would automatically read all incoming tickets, identify the correct category and type, and then update these fields directly in the system. So we let AI handle the rule-based, text-heavy lifting, while our people focus on the exception handling, the validation, and judgment-based decisions. So that balance made a huge difference in terms of our adoption. The results were massive. Average handling time dropped by 40%. We've actually automated 20% of the entire process. And most importantly, we saved the equivalent of 5 full times worth of effort, which we returned to the team so they could focus more on the meaningful work and balance or having a work-life balance.
So again, another relatable example. I'm sure as you as you were sharing, a lot of people can relate to this backlog and manual. And so such a beautiful example of returning time to humans. So okay, let's go to Hendrik again. Hendrik, how about you? Can you share a similar project experience and specifically how did human and AI work together to make that happen?
So specifically for human and AI working together, I have this one example on a project that we worked for a US-based client, a network and technology provider client. So we've created an agentic application that helps their marketing department. So what it does is it generates contents for like emails, case studies, and blogs. So we all know that AI can generate content, right? But it's not the difficult part of doing that manually because before there's a lot of like back and forth. Multiple people need to review before they use that and publish it. those contents. So what we did was the AI was able to generate the content as well as review the content, and making sure that it follows like the branding standards, all of those legal standards that they enforce. But but we are talking about human and AI collaboration, right? So where's the human there? The human comes from context. So for example, that the content was generated by AI, but the AI doesn't know how to talk to like specific segments of customers. That's where your marketing teams comes in. They generate like the how to talk to this specific customer segment, based on their current buyer's journey. So that's where human and AI was able to collaborate to create an output that is high quality.
Oh, okay, fantastic example. And I think based on what you are sharing, it's clear that the game changer is not AI itself, but how we as people choose to lead and direct it. And in Accenture, we have shifted really to from human in the loop to human in the lead. No? And so again, elevating the human experience. Okay, great. So now we've been seeing some great questions coming in from our viewers on Facebook and YouTube. I want to clear some space to answer a few of those live. All right. The first question, anyone can answer. Um, what does the career path look like for someone entering Accenture today? Will they be expected to be an AI specialist from day one? Okay, maybe I'll start to answer, and then you can add. You know, as the team has been describing, we have provided so many paths, no pathways for people to train, given them time and the resources, no so and the way we prefer to learn, because there's the training, but there's also learning in the flow of work. I think it's the most effective way, no, when we apply it immediately to our client projects. So I guess to going back to the question, we don't expect people to join us as experts. Of course, we do welcome to our workforce people who have studied AI. So we have a number of masters, PhDs in the team. But for majority of the people who join us, you can join us at different levels of skills, no? And we can train you. I think what's important, and um, Camille mentioned this earlier, curiosity, because the technology will keep changing, and what we're looking for in our company are those who are lifelong learners, so that we can adapt as fast as the technology changes. Okay. Um, do we have another question, or do you want to add? Anyone wants to add?
I would say, I mean, um, we do not expect the new joiners to be proficient, no, or a specialist in terms of AI. Siguro AI is an environment for us to learn and not a requirement for us to, have this job. So and I experience firsthand, no, na I joined Accenture without any AI knowledge. And maybe because wala pa namang AI before, but it's an environment. So you just need to adopt to the environment and be curious. So that's
Yeah.
I agree with you and Camille, no. So curiosity lang talaga yung ano. And then of course adaptability.
Yeah, and based on what you shared, it really improves the way you work. So I think it will sell itself, no, to people that you kind of have to learn this so that I can do other things that I prefer to do. Okay. Um Next question that came in: being comfortable with ambiguity. I guess this is Camille. No, you mentioned this phrase. And can you give an example of a time when AI gave you an imperfect answer and how you navigated that to get to the right result?
So this actually happens more often. And there was a POC where I asked AI to like create a solution for me. But when I looked at it closely, there were some gaps. So I need to revisit my prompt, refine it, and of course, throw in my domain expertise. So after a few revisions, I and AI were able to come up with a good solution. So in the end, AI is just like a jump start. It's not, you still have to refine it and you still have to review what it gives to you. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I think you can really, and AI even says that, no, that, okay, you
Yes.
cannot rely on this answer. But there are techniques to make it more accurate, I suppose. So it's evolving. No? So, yes, for sure. Okay. Um, okay. One more question. If AI fluency is the new baseline for moving up, how do you keep the culture from becoming adapt or die for people who didn't come from a tech background? What's the actual day to day like for a non expert trying to catch up and build their career using AI right now? Okay, so I think we are not all technical. As Marian said, her background is not technical at all. So I again, the skills that we need, because Accenture will provide the resources for you to learn the trainings. So as long as you're I think you mentioned growth mindset. No, I love that. I think this is the one of the greatest attributes of a leader, growth mindset. And for me, I define that as I can learn anything as long as I apply myself. I can learn this, um, and I think this is the ingredient for people to thrive in this age of AI. Do you want to add, Hendrik?
Yeah. So aside from like willingness to learn, right? So they were talking about how day-to-day work looks like with AI for non-technical people. I think the best way for us to learn about AI is to actually use it. So maybe if you're assigned to one of the projects that are doing AI, you can start with like testing the tools, right? Testing the actual software that we wanted to deliver or build, and then you'll get familiarity, and then after that, maybe at some point, like after a few months, maybe you can tell yourself that, oh, I'm already an expert in using AI.
Yeah, I think it's about knowing enough, right, to do your job. And again, if your company will provide the resources, it's really up to you. No, because you all mentioned self study. It's a combination and experience learning. So yeah, so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, because there will be resources to help you. Okay. Next question is: what is the biggest cultural hurdle organizations face when moving from AI experimentation to full scale reinvention implementation? Okay, it's hard naman to say biggest, no, but maybe we can share what do we think, no, as we work with clients. What are the maybe obstacles to scaling? Okay, so I'll start now because this is a big topic among C-suite executives. Now, how do you move from experimentation to really scaling AI? And when we in Accenture, when we talk about scaling AI, it really means it's embedded in the core process, in the core business processes of the company, and that they're benefiting at scale. And we have clients in different industries where they've really made strategic bets. You know, like for example, from banking, okay, we will do AI on um, KYC, on know your customer, on loan approvals. And so these are like maybe the biggest revenue earners for them, and then they apply AI. So the lesson learned, I think, is leading with value. So I think you should not do technology for technology's sake, because not all problems you need AI. No, so you don't need AI for everything, but where it matters, where it's a strategic bet for your company, and then you lead with that. No, so what problem do we solve, and then AI can help. So then that is the ingredient for scaling AI. You don't say, oh, ano bang pwede kong gamitin itong AI. No, so it doesn't work in reverse. So leading with value is something we advocate for at Accenture with our clients. So don't do it if it's not a strategic problem in your company. I don't know if you want to add.
So based on my experience, so from experimentation to scaling, right? Most of the time, the clients would ask like, how do we know what the AI actually does? Because AI right now is some sort they think of it as like a black box, and they don't know what's really happening inside of it. So I think one of the hurdles is like making sure that we are making the clients comfortable on using AI, making sure that everything is visible for them, like the decisions that was being made by AI, they can see it, they can track it, and all of those things. I think that if we give that confidence to the clients, then we can definitely scale whatever AI use case we're experimenting in.
It's a great point because, and this is our responsible AI framework now, which we all are required to take. And it's really embedding responsibility in the life cycle. No, from data. Where did you get your data? Right. And then the actual model implementation, transparency, explainability. I think these are elements of responsible AI, where you have to be able to throughout the life cycle explain what you're doing, explain what AI is doing, and then human in the loop controls. Okay, so great questions. Thank you to everyone sending in questions. If we did not get to yours live, our team will be jumping in the comments to keep the conversation going. So please keep them coming. As we wrap up, I want to leave our audience with a takeaway for their own career journeys. So I would like to ask my panel, if you had just one piece of advice for a Filipino professional looking to reinvent their career for the age of AI, what would it be? So let's start with Camille.
My biggest advice would be don't wait to feel ready before you start using AI. You can learn by doing, start small. You don't need to master everything at once. And over time, that hands on experience becomes your biggest advantage.
All right, Marianne.
I like what Camille says na. Parang it's embedded na if you keep on, using AI. So for me, I think my advice would be AI will continue to evolve. So I mean, we've seen it. So from AI to Gen AI to Agentic now. So just be open to change. Be willing to unlearn old habits and be curious about what's next. So again, technology will change. Yun din yung sinabi kanina, no? But the growth mindset, which is within you, will always be your best asset.
All right, Hendrik.
So I agree with everyone. It's hard to answer the same question when you're the last because everything has been said. Pero siguro just to add, for me, don't focus on learning AI as a tool. Focus on learning how to work with it. New models and new technologies will come, and if you chase them all, you'll always feel left behind. What matters is how you use the AI to improve your day-to-day work and to solve your problems faster.
All right, powerful advice. And if I may add, we like to say in Accenture that AI will not replace people, but people who use AI will replace those who don't. So start small, start now. Okay, so Hendrik, Marian, Camille, thank you so much for showing us that at Accenture, we don't just use AI, we build the people who lead it. And huge thank you to everyone who tuned in. If you're ready to start your career reinvention story and to know more about Reinvent with AI, head to accenture.com/reinvent with AI. Be sure to follow Accenture in the Philippines on Facebook and YouTube so you don't miss our next episode. Once again, I'm Ambe Tierro. Thanks for watching Accenture Live.
Reinvent with AI. What if your mentor was a global expert? Someone shaping the future of work, right by your side. At Accenture, mentorship means learning alongside global experts, supported by AI tools that makes work smarter and faster. Technology removes friction, so you can focus on ideas, problem solving, and innovation. You'll learn by doing, guided by experts, and powered by technology that amplifies your impact. If you're driven by growth and collaboration, your story begins here. Proud to be a great place to work, be a part of a global movement shaping an AI-enabled future. Reinvent with AI. Explore your next steps at accenture.com/reinvent with AI.